I've been building my own language learning platform, and in this video, I'm going to show you what works in 2025, what doesn't work, and what progress you can really make with the tools that we have today without getting overwhelmed. So in 2020, as we know, COVID struck and there was a huge surge of language learning app usage. A lot of people, myself included, probably took on a new routine or a new habit during this time. And many would have taken on that extra time to probably get stuck into learning a new language, getting ready for a holiday after the COVID period ended. So online platforms boomed and definitely proved that there was demand out there. And of course, with all these services, they were all at the convenience of the user. And they were all willing to pay a small fee for it in exchange for this convenience. And that surge of interest, that didn't die down. Actually, what we're seeing in 2025 today is a huge surge in artificial intelligence in these language learning apps that all promise to help you learn a language even faster. So at the heart of that is, of course, artificial intelligence with an expected forecast in growth for the language learning app industry in the next several years. And that's all trending along with the capabilities of AI evolving. And of course, most of these language learning services, they've all adopted AI in some shape or form. For example, we have stuff like Langua or Kipi AI that offer real-time AI conversations with AI-trained bots, which help with instant corrections, grammar corrections, spelling, suggestions for new sentences and replies using instant voice recognition technology. And this appeals to a large audience of people who might not have someone to practice with. And we've got Memrise that integrates GPT-3 that helps boost the offerings from their existing courses. So of course, like most of these experiences, they almost mirror the experience of speaking to an actual human with the goal of making language learning with these services autonomous, engaging, and personalized. And of course, AI has opened the door as well to indie creators coming in to make their own language learning tools. No one really knows how many tools there are out there now. And you've got immersive experiences as well, traditionally not provided by the recent AI boom, like LingoPie that combines authentic video content with clickable subtitles and flashcards and quizzes. Stuff like Babel AI, Rosetta Stone, that continues offering adaptive courses. And of course, there are tons of traditional offline service methods like your traditional face-to-face language coaches, one-to-one tutoring, textbooks, flashcards. I mean, I could go on all day. So I've listed all that because that is to illustrate how much of an awful lot of stuff there is out there. But is the problem that there are too many tools out there? Not really. I actually think language learning should actually be more accessible. The real issue is how we're using them. So in my opinion, the problem is that users fall into this habit of app hopping, jumping between all of these shiny new tools without any real consistency. Now, this has always been a problem with language learning, right? It's never really a concrete goal with language learning. You can continue learning as much as you want, infinitely progress, right? And you can even choose to learn several languages at once. And then there are also a range of limitations that force you to stop, like money and even your self-motivation. Many of these services offer a real sense of progression. So it's like a set of rails leading you to the end. You start from the beginning and you work your way to the end, but you hit a plateau after that. Maybe try moving on to the next best service that sounds like it could work for you, or you could just give up altogether. And you realize, actually, I can't really hold a basic conversation after all of that. So a related problem then, learners rely on all of this information to give them everything they need to learn. But when we are given input and we don't do anything with that input, we inadvertently become passive consumers, not active users of the language. Passive exposure, like clicking through phrases and consuming video content, is common, yet it often lacks reflection, output, and the retention that we need to actively use this in practical scenarios. So even with all this immersion, all these flashy features that we see in apps today, learners frequently treat these apps like background entertainment. Familiar words, catchy visuals, but no meaningful engagement. And you may be thinking the AI tutors, they don't fall into this trap, right? This opens up a potential new problem, actually. This is probably not due to their lack of capabilities, but an over-reliance on them can actually cause more harm than good. It can cause us to stop thinking independently. AI tutors, they often provide instant feedback, grammar corrections, and suggestions. And it's very easy to get used to this safety net. The bot does everything you need from it. But the reality is this is far from how genuine and spontaneous interactions in real life really work. You're not training to have conversations with robots, you're training to have conversations with people. I see a lot of people with the same complaints. They've learned so much, but they can't string together a sentence, or they don't know how to navigate through a real life scenario. In my opinion, this boils down to not having a consistent source of input. That in turn is used to turn into output. Not recalling your input breaks that sense of progression, which causes you to lose motivation and drop off. Now that we understand the issues, I wonder how many of you can actually put your hands to your hearts and admit that this was you, or you were guilty of some of these behaviors at some point. What can you do to resolve them? And here's the answer that no one wants to hear, but it's the truth. Reflection is the process of transforming input into active output. Therefore, long-term retention. Memorized phrases need output. Writing, speaking, journaling. I mean, how else did people learn a language before the internet? Flashcards, subtitles, quizzes, they all need personal investment, whereby it's mentally translating, comparing with your own words from your own knowledge bank, making up sentences in your head, randomly having conversations with yourself in the shower. All these things are examples of reflecting on what you've learned. Without this step, even AI-powered translations or assistants fail to help teach. Corrections get ignored, audio repeats remain unanalyzed. If there is a situation where you can apply what you've learned and you can turn that into direct responses in the conversation, that's probably the best. Give it a go. I'm not talking about reciting the same sentence that you've just learned to someone else. Like, that's just regurgitating. Get in the conversation with someone, just get in some small talk. Talk about the weather, talk about how their day is going, what you've had for breakfast, or anything that is somewhat related to what you've recently learned. You're getting yourself in these non-deliberate, uncontrolled situations with very little safety nets. That's often the quickest way for things to get stuck in your head. And even if you make a mistake, that's okay, because they can probably correct you. Then you're more likely to remember next time by learning and reflecting from that mistake. Like, I remember once I was speaking to a staff member to help turn up the aircon for some room, and I absolutely butchered what I was saying. But that mistake stuck more than what any app has drilled into my head. So, to recap, there's a powerful toolkit of resources in 2025, from AI chatbots, roleplay, speech coaches, immersive video platforms. All these advanced tools are all enablers, not the ends to means. The real power lies in bringing your brain into conversation with what you consume. So true progress comes when you move beyond passive click and watch habits, when you reflect, respond, even double checking, doing your own research, and internalizing what you've learned. My language learning platform, Linguapon, helps to go beyond passive learning. It gives you meaningful inputs and prompts that make you, almost force you to reflect and rephrase and own what you've learned, all on your own time with no pressure at all. It's the exact tool I wish I had when I first started learning. You can check out the walkthrough on my channel, and I'll also post useful tips on how to effectively use it for your own language learning, so feel free to give it a go today. I'm Alvin Speaks. I am at the beach today. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye. And then there are a range of limitations that just force you to stop, like, money and motivation. Of course, that's